You're doing these dive bars and these huge stadiums simultaneously.
It's fantastic.
Does it keep you off balance, or is it just the same?
Man.
Yep.
It's everything's a dive bar. Just what size is it? You know, it's so much fun.
The world of country music is reeling tonight after Garth Brooks, one of the most beloved voices in American music history, broke the silence with devastating news that left fans heartbroken. For decades, Garth has been a symbol of energy, warmth, and unstoppable optimism, a man whose music carried millions through their hardest times. But now his words carry a very different tone, one filled with pain, reflection, and finality. Moments ago, during an emotional appearance, Garth delivered a statement that few expected to hear, one that may mark the end of an era. His voice trembled as he spoke. His trademark smile faded, and for the first time, the man who once filled entire stadiums with laughter and song seemed weighed down by something far heavier. Fans are asking what happened. Rumors have swirled for months about health struggles, personal loss, and tension behind the scenes. But no one imagined Garth himself would confirm the heartbreaking truth. After decades of performing, giving everything he had to the stage, Garth's announcement wasn't just about career. It was about life. Love and what time takes from all of us. Tonight, we uncover the real reason behind Garth Brooks's shocking message, what it means for his legacy, and how this moment has forever changed the story of one of country music's greatest legends. For over 3 decades, Garth Brooks has been the beating heart of country music, the Oklahoma boy who rose from small-town dreams to global stardom. From The Dance to Friends in Low Places, he didn't just sing songs. He told stories that millions could see themselves in. His concerts weren't just performances. They were celebrations of life, love, and resilience. But behind that radiant smile and booming energy, Garth has always carried something deeper, a quiet struggle that few ever noticed. In recent months, those closest to him began to sense that something wasn't right. His appearances grew fewer, his interviews more reflective, and his tone quieter. It wasn't the same spirited man fans had seen for years, leaping across stages with a cowboy hat tilted and a grin that could light up an arena. There was a heaviness, the kind that comes from carrying both time and loss. People close to Garth say he's been battling exhaustion, not just from the physical toll of touring, but from the emotional weight that fame brings. He's given everything to his fans, one longtime friend shared. But you can only pour out so much before you need to stop and fill yourself back up again. Over the years, Garth has always prided himself on being strong, not just for his audience, but for his family. His wife, Trisha Yearwood, has been his rock, standing beside him through the highs and the heartbreaks. Together they faced endless public scrutiny and relentless schedules, yet their love remained unshaken. But even love can't protect a man from the quiet ache of burnout and reflection that comes with decades in the spotlight. In his most recent interview, Garth hinted that time had begun to catch up to him. "You think you've got forever," he said softly, "but then you wake up and realize forever isn't as long as you thought." Those words, spoken with a tremor in his voice, made fans worry that something far more serious was going on. Behind the scenes, sources say Garth has been grappling with health issues, not necessarily life-threatening, but serious enough to force him to slow down. Years of intense touring, sleepless nights, and physical strain have taken a visible toll. His voice, once thunderous and effortless, now bears the marks of time. Yet even as his body began to remind him of his humanity, his heart refused to stop giving. And that's exactly why his latest announcement hit so hard. It wasn't just another celebrity statement. It was a rare moment of vulnerability from a man who's built a career on strength. Garth has always been the face of joy, unity, and gratitude. But when he looked into the camera this time, his eyes told a different story. Fans watching the live stream could feel it, the weight in his tone, the sadness in his pauses. He didn't speak as the superstar who sold over 170 million albums. He spoke as a man who was tired, reflective, and deeply aware that the stage lights don't shine forever. It's unclear whether this means a final farewell to performing, a break for health reasons, or something even more personal. But one thing is certain. The Garth Brooks who once seemed unstoppable has finally let the world see the human side beneath the legend. The man who gave everything to country music might be preparing to say goodbye to the life that defined him. Not because he wants to, but because time has finally whispered the one word he never wanted to hear. Enough. The moment came unexpectedly, not during a concert, not at an award show, but during a quiet live stream meant to connect with fans. Sitting in a dimly lit studio, Garth Brooks appeared different. The cowboy hat was still there, but the spark in his eyes had dimmed. His voice, normally full of laughter and confidence, trembled slightly as he began to speak. "This isn't easy for me," he started, taking a deep breath. "But I owe it to you, to be honest about where I am right now." Those few words were enough to silence millions of viewers tuning in. They had never seen Garth like this before. For a man who built his life around uplifting others, this moment felt like an unmasking, the kind of vulnerability that only comes when the weight of years can no longer be hidden. He went on to explain that the pressures of performing, the constant travel, and the endless expectations had finally caught up to him. "I've pushed my body further than I should have," he admitted, his voice cracking slightly. "And I've ignored the signs for too long." The room was silent. There was no applause, no music, just the sound of a legend speaking from the heart. Garth explained that he had been struggling not only with physical exhaustion, but with something deeper. The emotional toll of living under the spotlight for decades. "People think this life is all about the music," he said softly. "And don't get me wrong, I love what I do. But the truth is, it's lonely. When you're on the road all the time, when you're trying to be everything to everyone, you lose a little bit of yourself." Behind him, Trisha Yearwood, his wife and closest confidant, could be seen sitting quietly, her expression filled with both pride and sadness. She nodded gently as if silently telling him it was okay to let go for a while. For Garth, that moment wasn't just a confession to fans. It was a release, the acknowledgement that even the strongest hearts need rest. Over the years, Brooks has been one of the few artists who managed to blend success with humility. He took a break from fame once before, stepping away from the spotlight in 2001 to raise his daughters. Fans respected him for it, admiring how he always put family before fame. But this time, the tone was different. This wasn't about stepping away by choice. It was about being forced to confront what his body and mind could no longer endure. He revealed that the constant travel and demanding performances had caused health issues that could no longer be ignored. "I kept saying I'd slow down," he confessed. "But every time I saw a crowd singing back to me, I couldn't help myself. I just kept going." His honesty struck a chord. Across social media, fans poured out messages of love and concern. Some shared stories of how Garth's music had helped them through loss, heartbreak, and hardship. Others simply begged him to take care of himself, to rest, to heal, to come back when he was ready. But perhaps the most heartbreaking moment of all came near the end of his address. Looking down for a long pause, Garth finally whispered, "If this is the end of the road, I just want to say thank you. You gave me a life I never dreamed of. You made me who I am." Those words hit harder than any lyric he ever sang. They weren't rehearsed or polished. They were raw, real, and unforgettable. And as he stood up to leave, fans could see tears glistening in his eyes. Garth Brooks, the man who made millions sing about hope, heartbreak, and second chances, had just shared his most painful truth, that even legends have breaking points. In the glittering world of country music, few stars have seemed as unstoppable as Garth Brooks. His energy on stage was electric, his voice larger than life, a powerhouse of charisma and heart. But away from the lights, friends say that Garth has been facing a battle few ever saw coming. His latest announcement didn't just confirm what fans feared, it revealed the quiet pain that has followed him for years. Those close to him describe long nights of physical pain, exhaustion, and emotional strain. Decades of performing, the endless travel, long rehearsals, and high-energy shows have taken a serious toll on his body. He's been dealing with back and joint pain for years, one insider revealed. But Garth being Garth, he just pushed through it. He never wanted to disappoint his fans. The truth is, that relentless dedication came at a cost. In the early years, it was adrenaline that fueled him. The joy of singing to packed stadiums, of seeing people smile because of his songs. But as time passed, that same passion began to wear him down. At 63, Garth's body has endured more than most can imagine. Each performance, each tour added another layer of wear and tear. And now, the fatigue has caught up. Still, it isn't just the physical pain that's taken a toll. Garth's emotional health has been tested too. The pressure to live up to his own legend, to always be Garth Brooks, the entertainer, the icon, left little room for him to simply be Garth, the man. In interviews, he's spoken about the emotional cost of fame. "You give so much of yourself away," he once said. After a while, you start to wonder what's left. Through it all, Trisha Yearwood has been his anchor. The two, who married in 2005, have built a bond grounded in love, faith, and understanding. Friends say she's been by his side through every sleepless night, every moment of doubt. Trisha has been his rock, one close family friend shared. She knows when he's putting on that brave face for the world, and she's the one who reminds him it's okay to rest. In private, Trisha has been urging Garth to slow down for years. She's seen how hard he pushes himself, how unwilling he is to let anyone down. And now, with his recent health scares and mounting exhaustion, she's become more protective than ever. "He's got nothing left to prove," she told him, according to insiders. "The world already knows who you are. It's time you take care of you." Fans have echoed that same sentiment across social media. In the hours following his announcement, messages of support flooded in from all corners of the world. "Take your time, Garth. We'll be here when you're ready," one fan wrote. Others shared how his songs, from The River to Unanswered Prayers, helped them through their own darkest days. The outpouring of love was overwhelming, a reflection of the deep connection he's built with millions over the years. Still, the question remains, what's next for Garth Brooks? Will he return to the stage? Or has he finally reached the point where it's time to say goodbye to touring for good? Sources close to him say he's still deciding. "This isn't about quitting," one friend explained. "It's about surviving." Garth's realizing that if he wants to be here for his family, his health has to come first. And that's what makes this moment so emotional, because Garth Brooks has never been about fame or fortune. He's always been about heart. Every song, every word, every smile came from a place of gratitude. So when a man like that steps back and admits he's hurting, it isn't weakness, it's humanity. For fans who've followed him for decades, this revelation is heartbreaking, yes, but it's also a reminder. Even legends need rest. Even heroes grow tired. And maybe, just maybe, this pause in his journey will be the chapter where Garth Brooks finally learns to give himself the same love he's given to the world for so long. As the dust settles from Garth Brooks' emotional revelation, the world of country music stands still. The man who once filled stadiums with roaring crowds and thunderous applause is now facing one of the hardest moments of his life, stepping away, at least for now, from the stage that defined him. For Garth, this isn't just a career pause. It's the end of a chapter that spanned more than 3 decades of unforgettable music, sacrifice, and love. In the days following his announcement, fans flooded the internet with an outpouring of emotion. Messages of love, gratitude, and heartbreak appeared under every post with his name. Hashtags like "Thank you, Garth" began trending, filled with memories. First concerts, wedding dances, and road trips where his songs became the soundtrack of people's lives. For millions, Garth Brooks wasn't just a singer. He was a companion through joy and sorrow. Behind the scenes, Garth has reportedly been taking things one day at a time. He's focusing on recovery, physically, mentally, and spiritually. He's spending more time at home in Nashville, away from the bright lights and relentless schedules. Friends say he's been reconnecting with old passions, simple things like horseback riding, family dinners, and long walks on his ranch. After years of giving every ounce of himself to music, he's finally learning to breathe again. Trisha Yearwood has remained his constant support, encouraging him to put his health and happiness first. Garth has always been larger than life, she recently said in an interview. But now it's time for him to just be human, to rest, to heal, to enjoy what he's built. And what he's built is nothing short of extraordinary. With over 170 million albums sold, countless awards, and a reputation as one of the greatest entertainers of all time, Garth Brooks' legacy is already cemented in music history. But what truly sets him apart isn't the records or the numbers, it's his heart. He's the artist who stopped mid-concert to thank the audience for letting him live his dream. The man who once spent years off the road just to raise his daughters, proving that being a father mattered more than being a star. And now, even as he faces uncertainty, he's showing his fans one more lesson, that it's okay to step back, to take care of yourself, to admit when it's time to rest. During a quiet moment in his live stream, Garth said something that left a lasting impact. If this is where the road slows down, I want you to know, I'm not sad. I'm grateful. Every song, every face in the crowd, every prayer, it's been more than I ever deserved. Those words, raw and sincere, captured everything about the man behind the music. This isn't just a farewell. It's an acknowledgement of a life well lived and a legacy that will continue long after the stage lights dim. Many believe that even if Garth never performs another massive world tour, his music will never fade. Songs like The Dance, If Tomorrow Never Comes, and Standing Outside the Fire have become anthems of resilience, reflections of life's joys, losses, and hopes. They carry messages that still resonate deeply with anyone who's ever loved, struggled, or dreamed. For Garth, this may be a time of stepping away, but it's not a time of defeat. It's a time of reflection, a time to look back on a journey filled with love, mistakes, laughter, and tears. A time to finally rest in the knowledge that his work has already changed lives. And as fans around the world continue to sing his words, one thing becomes clear. Legends never truly say goodbye. They simply play their last song, let the final note linger, and trust that the melody will carry on forever. For Garth Brooks, that melody is eternal.